Staying patient while growing on YouTube is one of the hardest things, but it's also one of the most important skills that you can develop as a new creator. But what if I told you that there are four habits that are quietly killing your ability to stay patient that you probably don't even realize you're doing? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what these patience killers are, why they drain your motivation without you even knowing, and what you can do to reverse it so that you build genuine resilience to stay in the YouTube game for longer. But first, an analogy. Imagine patience like a bank account balance. And as a new creator, you can either fill that balance with deposits or you can take from it with withdrawals. Now, when you make deposits, things like taking rests, learning, celebrating the small wins, you add to your account balance. And when you make withdrawals, the habits we're about to discuss, you're slowly depleting yourself into the red. And the tricky part is that most of us are making withdrawals every single day without even realizing it. And if we don't recognize what's depleting our account balance, we're going to sit there and wonder why we're losing motivation, even though we're doing our best to stay positive. So let's start with one of the biggest ones, the constant urge to refresh YouTube Studio. And if you're anything like me, you've no doubt in the past had the urge to open up the app 100 times a day to refresh to see if any new comments or new subscribers came through. But with every swipe of our thumb, we're making tiny withdrawals from our account balance because in those moments, we're actively training our brain to expect instant feedback. We're reinforcing this idea that progress should be visible now. And yeah, it feels mostly harmless in the moment, but each refresh is giving into a subtle yearning for validation. And that hit of dopamine becomes so addicting and it shapes what should be a long-term creative growth process into a short-term dependency. And you guys, it is not healthy. So then the question is, how do you reverse it? Well, I think the first thing we do is we delete the YouTube Studio app from our mobile device. And what you'll find is that when you completely eliminate that trigger, you mysteriously stop reaching for your phone nearly as often. And if you want to take it a step further, you can practice something called post and ghost, which essentially says you post your video, you walk away, and you don't come back to YouTube Studio for at least 48 hours. Can you imagine? And when you do come back, what you will find is that you are considerably less attached to the outcome of that one video because 2 days will have passed and you're on to the next thing and you don't care as much. And so if you like this idea and you want to give it a shot, put a hashtag post and ghost in the comments below and let me know if you're on board. Now, even if you get the YouTube Studio stuff completely in check, there's still another way to take massive withdrawals from your account balance that is quietly killing your ability to stay patient. And it's one of the most deceptive withdrawals because it actually feels like progress. I'm talking about shiny object syndrome. You convince yourself you're being productive, right? You try a new strategy, maybe you test out a new tool or re-optimize your workflow, but really what you're doing is you're starting over. Each time you switch up your strategy or try out a new niche or rebuild a new process, you're effectively resetting all of your momentum and you lose all of that compounding effect of consistency. And I completely get it. I know exactly what it's like to become enamored by a new AI tool that we saw in a video or want to build a new digital product even though we didn't finish the first one. It is so easy to want to post on 10 different socials before we even built a following here on YouTube. But here's why this is such a big problem. It's that every time we reach for something new, we reinforce a dangerous message in our minds, and that is that the answer must be somewhere else, and that the faster progress is simply over there. If only we adopted that shiny new tool or that new strategy, we'd finally blow up our channel and make more progress. But what's really happening is that we're spreading ourselves thin. We're never actually getting good at any one thing, and we're depleting our patience because we're too busy craving novelty instead of mastery. Now, the fix is simple, but it's not easy, and it is to consume less and produce more, but also to focus on one channel of distribution, namely YouTube, to serve one customer profile, and to follow one mentor and their full body of work go as deep as possible instead of wide for the next 18 months before making any substantial pivots. And if you've been bouncing between strategies and tools trying to figure out what works for you, that's exactly what I do inside my mentorship program. I work with newer and mid-level YouTubers to help them with focus, simplify their process, and to help them build real momentum without burning out. So if that sounds interesting to you, check the links below. Okay, so maybe you get this part right, but it is not enough to simply stop chasing new strategies because there is another account depleting trap that loves to rear its ugly head. And that is trying to get every little detail perfectly right and to become too attached to our content. Most creators wear this habit like a badge of honor and they'll try to convince you it's what makes them great. But it's among the most devastating habits, killing their ability to stay patient and it's called perfectionism. And I know this one intimately because I struggle with it. In fact, I record and re record videos all the time before I'm ready to post them. And what makes this one especially dangerous is that it's often disguised as having high standards. But perfectionism has nothing to do with high standards. It has everything to do with high expectations. So think about what's actually happening when you hold a video back because it's not quite ready yet. What you're really saying is that this video has to work. In other words, you're putting all of your hopes on a single video because you simply cannot see beyond it. And this places tremendous pressure on one near-term outcome instead of spreading it across your future body of work where it actually belongs. All right, so what's the solution? Well, I think the simple answer is to just simply stop caring, right? Stop attaching so much weight and importance to a single video upload and understand that you're going to be making content week over week for many years to come. So it makes very little sense to fuss over tiny little details that are going to delay your posting a video. Now, I think more tactically, the best way to get over perfectionism and to build up a positive account balance is to get good at batching and get 3 to 4 weeks ahead on your content. Because something magical happens when you get ahead on content, and it's this: all of that pressure that would be otherwise placed on a single video now gets placed across multiple videos and multiple weeks, and it provides this natural benefit that I call not giving a shit. And this becomes one of the most liberating feelings in all of content creation. Now, listen, what I'm about to say is going to feel completely wrong because this next habit looks like commitment. It looks like hustle, and it looks like what every serious creator should be doing. But it's quietly depleting your account balance and your ability to last on YouTube. I'm referring to working constantly and not setting boundaries between your YouTube work and your home life, because it is so easy to check in on comments or to update an old thumbnail during downtime. And yeah, maybe you get a few extra things done throughout the week, but this sets a dangerous precedent. Because what you're really doing is recalibrating what productivity looks like, and you're setting unrealistic expectations for yourself. You begin to think that if you're idle for too long, that you're not being productive enough, and therefore you're not growing as quickly. Cal Newport explains that true creative progress happens in short, focused bursts, followed by recovery, because once your attention is depleted, the quality of your work falls dramatically off a cliff. So think about it like building muscle. You don't try to do push-ups every hour on the hour for 12 hours a day. Instead, you do them once a day for a couple of sets, but then you repeat that every day, every week, every month for a long period of time. And that's pretty much how creative progress works as well, right? You need that period of rest. Otherwise, your ideas are going to start to suck. You're going to lose your creativity and your motivation. Now, the fix for this one is twofold. Number one is set time on your calendar to actually detach from work. Go touch grass, pet a dog, hang out with your partner, go get happy hour drinks with some friends, but schedule it on your calendar. And then number two is to carve out time on the calendar for deep, focused work. Make sure it's uninterrupted. So put headphones on, turn off all your notifications, and close out the 23 open tabs that you have on your web browser. And remember that time spent away from work is not lost time. It's regenerative time, slowly adding to your account balance, putting you in the positive. So now that you know how to protect and grow your patient's account balance, the next challenge is to survive that invisible growth phase. And the truth is, it is a lot easier to do when you're not doing YouTube alone. And that's why I created my midlife creator community. It is a tight-knit network of hardworking creators all trying to build sustainable YouTube channels the right way. So if that sounds interesting to you, check the link below. And if you want help staying patient during that slow, invisible growth phase, check out the video right over here where I walk you through exactly how to do it.